Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hello, glad to have you join in. It's a rainy day here in Austin. It's kind of nice actually, and it's warm, so we're having a good time. There's a lot of things going on today and this week and next week, so I thought I would talk to you today a little bit about the differences between a free kind of medical system and a socialized medical system. Because I think there's a lot of confusion out there about what we as free people, our responsibilities are. I think some of us have gotten a little bit moved over to the mindset that the government is supposed to be giving us things rather than managing our rights to be executed in a way that we don't have interference for the things that we want to do, like having to do a lot of regulations or licensing or that kind of thing. But we can get into that topic later, because what I wanted to mention is the difference between what socialized medicine is and what like a free medical system would be. I'm not diminishing the Western model, because there's many good things that happen in the Western model. But what's happened over the years is that it's been more or less taken over by groups of people that are making a lot of profit from exercising people being sick and controlling their means of treatment. So in a socialized model, people are always asking, well, the government needs to pay this and pay that. We know people want them to pay for their abortions, or they want them to pay for this and pay for that. But what's not oftentimes understood in a situation like this is that in order for the government to be able to pay these bills, everybody else in the country or the state or whatever it is has got to pay higher taxes. And then what happens there is then there'll be an interference of regulations which will tell you that you can only do certain treatments and for so long, and they tell you exactly what to do and exactly how to do it because somebody else is paying for it. So you're not really having a choice in there. And the thing that's sort of scary for me is once you get caught into that system, you're pretty much yoked. And it's very difficult to get out of that system, because you'll find that insurances won't cover you because they're in cahoots with this profit-making scheme. So what is the alternative to that? Well, the alternative is something that we're seeing a bit of, because we're kind of in a gray area with all of this. We're not really on one side of the fence or the other. But the alternative to that is where we would have a lot of different practitioners who are out there, and they're schooled and they're doing a good job. When humanity is, I should say mankind, because that's really what I prefer to see us as, a kind race. But as mankind begins to understand the responsibilities of being a free people, which is being responsible for yourself and allowing other people's skills and talents to be part of the society without regulation and without being told what to do, we can have a system where there's many different people out there that are doing different things to bring a person towards better health. You may agree with some of them, you may not agree with some of them, you may find some that don't work for you, you may find other things that work for you, but ultimately the responsibility comes back onto you, the free person who is responsible for your own health primarily and your own well-being. So if you have a government that you want to have paying for things, then you're not going to be in a free society. It's not going to work that way. That system has been tried over and over and over again. What happens in that type of a system, the social system, the system where the government is very involved in your life, is that you end up being not a free people at all. You end up having to obey laws that aren't real laws. You end up having to have certain types of things done at the whims of somebody else telling you that they're going to fix you, when in fact you can't fix anybody. You have to work on your own self to get better. You have to work on your emotions. You have to work on detoxifying yourself. You need to work on your energy body. You need to work on a lot of things in your whole self as a person. And it's not always pleasant to do that at all. The detoxification process is rather difficult, to say the least, when you're doing a real detox and getting deep into the organs and getting them cleansed out. But you're never going to have that in a system that's profit-oriented, because they're going to want to give you toxic material to keep you sick and to also keep you yoked into the system. So we're at a point right now, from what I see, that there's actually two different timelines that we're ready to go out on. One timeline is the timeline of repeating history because we don't know what history's been about. It sounds good to have things all handed to us, but how does that really work? So that's where you need to get yourself a little bit educated to history and how things like that really don't work very well for mankind. And then the other timeline is where we begin to become the human beings that we're supposed to be in our talents and skills, and work with one another and teach each other and help each other and be responsible for ourselves and our own birthright of health, because that is a birthright. But if we are going to sell ourselves into a system that is going to destroy our health, that is something that you should pay attention to and ponder on. So with that, I want to say I may have made some of you a little bit upset by some of this I'm saying, but I really want you to think about it and really think about what it is you want for the future of your life. Do you want to live in a free society, or do you want to live in a society where you're told what to do, and if you don't do it, you're being very bullied? And it will get very much that way if we continue on that particular timeline. So it's up to you. The choice is yours. I thank you so much for listening to me today, and I will see you later. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And I think there's a little bell up there that you can hit that you'll get a notification every time we post. So if you want to, you can hit that too. But thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.